Hello, everybody.
Yeah, no one talks about their boobs.
No one's quick. Stop talking about boobs. We're live.
Stop talking about boobs.
That's what we do when you're not here. And surprisingly, I'm not lying to you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spire. Hey, it's Spire. It's been like weeks. We're so excited. Everything has changed. Ava no longer exists, and Tyler has a beard. So the world has just really everything has been upended. But no, I'm kidding. That's not true. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. I see your poem. We will get to it in just a moment. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I am probably going to try to blaze through the beginning of this because we're going to play a short session tonight. So where we would normally take a break, we're just going to end. And maybe we're thinking next week, we're fingers crossed we'll be back to our full time and normal time and all that. But, we're still kind of playing everything by ear as we always do. And we continue to appreciate your, Sam's camera angle has changed. Sarah and I both got haircuts.
And my microphone has changed.
I also got a haircut.
Rachel got a haircut since the last time we played. Okay.
So many haircuts.
So many haircuts, camera angles, microphones, people disappearing into the ether.
Baby.
Baby, it's just a lot. Guys, it's great to be here. Yes, let's do some things. So first of all, hi, my name is Elise. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I will be your GM tonight. And this ghost over here is Ava.
Hi, yeah, that's me. Yep. I am a figment of many collective imaginations given form. I happen to use she, her pronouns, and so does my character Chu. I will hopefully be back to normal and have fully materialized next week, but we'll see how that goes. There's about 3 Russian dudes standing between me and freedom.
That sounds weird.
That's Spadanya.
Ava's in a gulag.
I am moving, and the moving company has 3 very large, kind Russian dudes, and one of them is named Vlad, and I like him very much. For now.
But he's on thin ice.
He's on thin ice.
What is your public
If you're
warning,
watching,
Vlad?
Vlad, I know it's, yeah. Okay, and now we will pass things on to the person below me, who I will leave to the gods to divine who that is. It's Sam.
Well, as
Sam,
God,
it's you.
I say it's Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I only have the Twitch chat window out, so sorry about not recognizing who I was getting pointed, all that good stuff. Anyway, I am Sam. I play Eric Shamuza, and both of us use he, him pronouns. Yay! And I'm going to pass to Tyler, and because I made a circle, I eventually did point to him.
Impressive. I'm very impressed. Hello, all. My name's Tyler. I play Anders and Company. We all go by he, him, his, and I am going to pass it to Sarah.
Thank you. Sam was like, you know what? We're going to skip right over her. We usually go counterclockwise, and today we're just going to do something different. I am Sarah.
Broke tradition.
I am Din. We are she, her. And now I will point to Rachel.
Sorry, when you said we are she, her, it just made me think of We Are Legion, and I was just very like, what's happening? I'm Rachel, and I play Alvy, and we are also she, her, hers. And now I'm going to go back to Elise.
Back to you, Elise. Thanks, Rachel.
I do have a super fast question for Tyler, though.
We were rushing. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
When Anders dreams, is it just Anders that has dreams, or do they all have dreams? And do they ever interact in their sleep?
That's the only place they interact, is in their sleep.
So I want to say that it's definitely whoever's in the driver's seat is dreaming.
Okay.
But it's always Anders dreaming. If that makes sense.
Understood.
As they are all Anders.
Okay. Fair. Are we gonna do Chelsea's poem?
Yeah, let's do Chelsea's
Right now?
poem. Yeah, do
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay. The aftermath of the chaos wasn't so bad. Everyone is still standing, which makes me incredibly glad. New plans are in motion, new weapons, armaments, and oddities to be collected, more bees, Chairmageddon, and history faces to be expected. All the appreciation and praise to the talents of the amazing Spire crew. Much love, much missed. Welcome back. I can see and hear you. Yay!
Oh, as
Thank
always,
you.
Chelsea, just so appreciated that you do that for us and share your talents as well. I still think we need a like 10,000 point goat out point reward of like get a poem from Chelsea. This was something I'm not volunteering Chelsea for this. This was something that was discussed in a previous chat where Chelsea kind of offered it for like 20 goat oats, and I was like, excuse, time out. It's worth at least 10,000 goat oats. Okay, and then speaking of goat things, you can use exclamation point Discord to find our Discord. And exclamation
More
point
excited.
merch
Confidence.
to get a mug like this one.
Or a shirt like this one. Wait,
But-
this is better.
It's not that kind of stream.
I'm trying to show all the words. I don't know how else to do it.
But
Here.
nobody will ever make that shirt look as good as Rachel does.
Hey.
Hey,
Look at these goats and stoats, baby.
those goats and stoats, baby. Yes, and
I'll keep my-
also you can use exclamation point donate to find out about a cause that we're highlighting. And currently we are, I believe, still highlighting okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it had changed since the last time, but it hasn't, so that means we are still highlighting the cause of anti-racism, specifically racism against the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. And we encourage you to use that exclamation point donate command in the chat in order to find out more about both some places you could donate your money, or your time, or also just to kind of educate yourself using those resources, whatever you kind of have the ability to do. And bless you.
Bless you.
Three's greedy.
It's adorable.
Sorry.
Bless you.
If I don't concentrate really hard, I pee myself. So I have to make sure that I concentrate really hard.
Told you
Pregnancy
it's
is
not that kind of
beautiful.
stream.
Hey, I'm just being open and honest, okay? I've
Hey,
been
you know
stuck inside
what?
the house for too long. It's fine.
If you want to know more about what it's like being pregnant, I'm sure that this stream will feature many more. That was announced, right? I'm allowed to say that on
Yes,
stream now,
yes,
right? Oh
yes.
God, I was like, I'm pretty sure that was announced live on the
True.
internet. Elise ruins everything. Okay, and yeah, other helpful goat things besides hanging out with us in Discord is you can see us play Cheer Montreal tomorrow, which I am so excited about. I was listening. I have a new Minnow playlist. It's called Minnow 2.0, and I was listening to it in the car and almost made myself cry. And I was like, "You need to calm down." Yeah, and then yeah, you can watch us play that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I think. Watch Goats of Saltmarsh at 7 p.m. on Wednesday next week.
You're missing one critical event, which is Saturday. We have a super special, awesome Goat's Eye
Yes!
View.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
With my near friend, Narissa Hart, she, they pronouns, and they are one of the highest internationally ranked Shadow of the Colossus any percent speedrunners, as well as just a cool gamer in general, artist and actor. So yeah, please tune in. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain time. And if you have any questions, for Narissa about most things related to the aforementioned subjects, go ahead and pop those in the Goat's Eye View chat on our Discord.
God, that's just speed running. I'm so excited. I should ask questions, but I'm like, what would I even ask? I'm just gonna watch and be excited. We'll see. Yeah, love. Which does remind me that I guess summer is coming up. Just so great.
Maybe I can actually come over and we can watch it together.
God, we could. Although if
Is
it's
it? I'll fly to Colorado.
is it at the beginning of June? Because I'll be out of town. I'm traveling, y'all. Fully vaccinated. Everybody in my circle fully vaccinated.
Are you gonna be
Traveling.
talking for my birthday?
Oh my God, when's your birthday?
June 10th.
I will be gone on your birthday. We'll do something extra special. Oh my God, we said we weren't gonna waste time. Look at this.
You're gonna be gone on Sam's birthday?
Other people's birthdays too, I bet.
I'm gonna be gone on my
Sam's
birthday.
birthday's like 2 days before mine or whatever it is.
What's this
so-
game again?
So anyway, we're gonna play Spire now. I'm gonna need some. Oh, July. Look at that. Thanks, Ava. You're the best. That's very exciting. Okay. So, we are going to do stress. We'll do a recap. Then we will find out what special abilities Alfie and Edic would like to claim this session. And then I think we'll start the session now that we've wasted just as much time as we always do with pre-session bullshit. Just like the plan. Just like the plan. What stress do you have, Anders?
We have 2 stress, 2 reputation.
Excellent. Alfie?
0.
Din.
1 to Shadow.
Chu?
I have 3 stress, and it's all over, everywhere. The stress is the whole thing.
Oh, that's helpful. I have 2 marked to blood and 2 marked to others, so which one should I erase one?
I have 2 to blood and 1 to silver.
Edic.
I'm a little confused by my own writing here because I have 0 marked in total stress, but then I think I have 3 marked to mind. So I done screwed up something somewhere.
Okay. I don't remember what that would have been. I have you marked at 1 mind. Do we want to just take my note and put you
You
at
know,
1
you know what it
total?
probably was? It was probably when I figured out new person's powers. Was that last session that I rolled?
That would have
for An-
been
Was
3
that last session for
sessions
Anders?
ago? Maybe 4 sessions ago?
Right, because
Yeah.
you had the water breathing when we, or not water breathing, but the ability. Yeah, you had that before then. So maybe I rolled it for everyone at the start. Yes, that's what it was. I rolled it for everyone at the start of last session, so we would have it for the goings on today. So that's what it was. I rolled 2 stress for mine there. Okay, yeah, I am at 3.
Sorry, important lactose intolerance chat happening. Lactose intolerant people represent in the chat right now. Okay. Anyway, that's great. I didn't hear what the final conclusion was. You said 3. You do have 3?
Yes.
Okay. I definitely have that annotated now. Thank you. Okay, and let's do a quick recap. What happened last game, like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Ah.
Have to check and see if I took notes. Yeah, so I know we ended up getting a working hypothesis that that the sickly Elfir that Bertold knew of might be looking for a replacement heart, hence the hearts getting ripped out of uh, victims. And is that related to the demons? I don't know. That was one thing I think we got last session. Maybe that was before, but I think it was last session.
I think it was last session that we kind of, because I think you spent the first half of it kind of in the room, just kind of
Hmm.
hashing out some details about what what you thought was going on and kind of piecing together this.
Mm-hmm. Anders bought some Elfir shit. He has a mask and some. He has an expensive true mask, and then like nice generic looking one, and then some Elfir garb for when he is going to take on an Elfir persona if it comes to that eventually.
I had just a handful of notes. Um, uh, so I wrote that Alvi took some fallout because of a rumor, and I desperately wanted that to be that she like cheated on her entrance exams or something. Um, I don't remember what the rumor ended up actually being. Wait, was it that you couldn't read?
No. I thought it was a couple things. I know Elise wrote it down, but I thought like it was like
Yes.
more than one.
It was more than one, and I do have it written down.
I remember one of them was that you were lost, just like lost in the whatever it's called.
Vermisian.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't read.
That was an offered one, I think. Rumors like that you couldn't. Alvi is lost in the vault specifically. Alvi is spying on people from the vault, and Alvi talks to ghosts.
Oh, because it had to be like two lies and a truth or something about the rumor?
Yeah, like one of the rumors had to be true.
Some truth to it? Okay.
So I also wrote that we ended up deciding that we wanted to check in to see Din's contact. One of Din's contacts as far as getting the super special awesome, again I'm using that Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged meme. Sword for Anders. And the person that we ended up meeting was Galena Roses in Bloom. And one of the things that Edic spied was a suit of armor that, if it was repaired, would have magical properties. And Galena ostensibly was not aware of this. Or at least if she was, she didn't let it on. And the last thing that happened before the session wrapped up was that Edic sketched an image of Galena, Roses in Bloom, and handed it to her, and we were gonna see what the fallout from that is gonna be, but we hadn't rolled for it yet.
Yes. So yeah, you all had gathered. Alvi went across the hall with the shop attendant, and then yeah, Alvi went across the hall with the shop attendant to the oddities collection, and the rest of you went to the. So we hadn't yet seen Alvi's kind of um, browsing of the oddities, and you were also told that like in general this is like Galena's collection that she kind of has on display, and that like you would have a chance to ask her about anything she might have in the back or not on display, or about like procuring special things. So your conversation is certainly not over with Galena, but let's start. Let's jump on. Oh wait, we need Alvi and Edic's special abilities before we get going.
Yeah, I was thinking last time I had pursue to navigate the vault. This time I was thinking compel to to be able to like barter some
Okay.
or get information about things. Compel for shopping.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this time, friends, both Alvi and Edic are taking the exact same ability.
I mean, we're pretty
um,
much just doing shopping, so
yeah. I was going to say like compel when dealing with Elfir, but this seems to be basically the same. Yeah, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, I mean, if you want to take the when dealing with Alfir side of it, you could. I mean, it would be a different thing, assuming, you know, but um,
Like
yeah.
if
I guess
I'm
like
trying to get
you
a
get to pick
good
how you
price
word
for
it.
this
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
specifically with
I'll,
the
I'll go
idea
with
of
Alfir because that's what I said.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. All right. Great. Then let's pop over to Alvi with the kind of clerk, the assistant who is a drow woman, masked in kind of the shop clerk mask. Sorry. Um the shop clerk mask. So it's more similar to those of you who are wearing like the generic shop masks, which a few of you are. Wearing those, and some of you have. I think Din and Chu at least have. Maybe Anders have their own masks on, and then the others have on kind of the generic shop masks. And the shopkeeper or the clerk, the attendant, she is wearing kind of a mask that is similar to the shopper's masks, but it's just a little bit nicer and has like a little bit more like design on it that kind of in the language of masks, so to speak, designates her as employee rather than shopper. And everybody who has any experience with high society would be pretty proficient at kind of reading types of masks, and what they kind of mean and how they kind of work. And that is to say, like, it's very simple to look at, the mask that Alvi and Attic have on, for example, and see like, this is a person who's borrowing a mask from a shop in order to do people kind of thing, etc. So, yeah, then so she kind of opens the door into this room of oddities. It is very odd in here. The atmosphere of this room is like very different. Like you walk inside and she actually closes the door behind you because you can tell like the room is more damp than the room outside. And you kind of like look around and just kind of like try to calculate like why this room might be kept damp and can't figure it out. Like there's no immediately obvious reason that this room would need to be kept damp. But as we know, moisture levels very important in Spire. Who knew? Also in shops, not just in midwives' clutches. And she kind of like gestures around the room. There's some tables set up all kind of around the perimeter of the room. It's not huge. There are several spots with nothing on them, as if someone has either purchased or removed items from. But there's, I think, about 7. To open my list. Yeah, I think there's 7 items kind of around, and she doesn't seem to believe that Alvi is going to buy anything. And she kind of
I look
has
like just a browser.
yeah, and so she kind of like gestures and is like, well, if there's anything I can tell you more about, but she seems
Yes, everything. If you could just tell me more about everything in here, that would be really, really great. I just would. Everything looks fascinating.
great. Okay.
What about start with this one? Just this one right here. And I
Okay.
point to the rat in the
Okay.
cage.
Yeah, so kind of closest to you, to your left, is a small cage, and inside it is a rat, and it's alive, and it's just sitting in the cage. It has like a little, like some little seeds that it seems to have recently nibbled on, although it is out of them, and it's now kind of standing near the edge of the cage, like watching you, as if perhaps you were going to give it more.
Do you have
And
seeds I can give it? Can I give it seeds?
uh, 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 if you must, and she kind of like picks up the, like the table has one of those like hanging like tablecloth things that falls all the way to the ground to make it look very nice and pretty. And she kind of picks that up and pulls out a little bin with some seeds, and she hands you a few, basically sunflower seeds. And they're in the shells, and so she hands them to you.
And I'm just gonna put them like on the tips of my fingers and hold them out towards the cage.
Yeah, and it like reaches this little rat hands out and takes the seeds, and it drops one inside its cage and then comes back and takes, I don't know how many you have, maybe three. It does that with all of them until it has like a little stash behind it, and then it takes the last one and starts like cracking open the shell to eat inside. And she drops back the, kind of puts them away, and she says, yes, so this rat is one that can eat curses, at least that's how they kind of phrase it. But basically, if you're cursed, you put the rat like in a pouch and then go to sleep, and then the rat will be cursed. I've
The
never
rat will be okay, right?
I mean, what curse do you have on you? I don't know. But then I've heard that like if you have a rat that is cursed and put it in a pouch and you go to sleep with it on you, then you wake up with the curse. So like eating the curse is not really an accurate way of putting it, because it doesn't like destroy it, or it never like poops out little curse gems. Just
Or
seems
you
to
might
transfer.
not know, right? You said you haven't tried it yet.
Yep. If you want this
There is
rat,
science to be had here.
if you want this rat, you sure can have it, and test those things out if you can get yourself cursed. And
I mean, you're giving me the option to have another animal friend, Elise. So,
is this
just
Nero?
saying.
Chelsea,
I mean, here
Chelsea's
I also
already
have
been like,
I had
wait,
a
is this
hyena
Tyr?
and I have bees. Like I'm
I
just
know. We're just
anytime I can, I will.
collapsing the two universes. And so, yeah, the rat's busy eating its sunflower seeds, and the shopkeeper kind of points to the next pillow, and it is like a pillow holding something on this one. She's like,
Sorry,
this
I'm
one...
making you describe everything.
No, that's okay. I love these. I think it's great.
Okay, good.
She's like, this one's kind of cool, and she picks it up, and it's like it's a empty glass bottle. It's not too big, but it is a little bit delicate looking. It looks like kind of thin glass, nicely wrought, I guess. Rot, blown, nicely blown. It's fine. It's that kind
Not
of
that
stream,
kind of
Sarah.
stream.
It's that kind of stream. And this is the way of pain, says
Gully is warning you.
I
He's
know.
warning you now.
Yeah. Hey, look,
Give me pets.
Yeah. I'm not above killing this rat. No, I'm kidding. So, she takes the bottle and she's
Is
like,
it a beautiful rat?
it's just a rat. I mean, I
All
guess
rats
beauty's
are
in the eye of
beautiful.
the beholder, but
Bee holder in this case.
I'm done. Sam, turn off your camera.
I love
so Tyler has to GM the rest of this.
Oh. That was a slow burn for me, Sarah, but that was good.
These are my contributions
Am
today.
I
It's
am
just
I the
little-
GM now? The
Yeah, I've
rat's
resigned.
free.
Yes! The rat's free!
The
It's been
rat's
done!
free.
The rat is mine!
I was prepared.
Oh,
I was prepared.
this is
Good
why
job,
I
good
love
job.
Tyler.
So the rat's
He
free.
gives me free rats.
Yep.
Okay,
It's what I do. I'm a benevolent god.
Rats for everybody.
my favorite,
Yeah.
my favorite like absurd GM thing is from Dimension 20 when one of the players asks Brennan Lee Mulligan, who GMs those games, if they could jump from like the 14th floor of a building and use a ribbon as like a parachute, and he was just like, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to let you do this, and I want you to tell me what you have to roll to make it viable that you can jump as a human with no special abilities, not magical, from a 14th floor of a building and fly down. Keep in mind that whatever you say, if you say it's like a 13 DC, to fly with a ribbon from the 14th story of a building, that sets the tone for the rest of the campaign, okay? Like, it was so funny. It was just like the best moment as a GM, just being like, you can decide what the DC is, but you tell me what you think is a reasonable DC for fly with a ribbon. Anyway, I just love that, and anything like this always reminds me of that moment of him just being like, "You tell me what's reasonable." Okay, focus, doing it, going through it. The
Well
glass
blown
bottle,
glass.
well blown glass. And she's like, "Watch this," and she pops the top. It's stoppered, and she pops the top, and it's one of those ones that like the top of it is like in like one of those like contraptions
Little
where the cork
cages.
has the little little metal pinch. And when she pops it out, the door behind you opens. And then she pops the stopper back in, and the door behind you slams shut. And the rat drops its little and then scurries to pick it up. And she's like, "Yeah, it'll just open and close the nearest door. It doesn't have to be the same door. It's just that this is the nearest door." I don't know how it works with things that are locked, and apparently if you break it, it shatters windows nearby, so you have to be kind of careful. And she sets that back down. The next item is an undeveloped daguerreotype. Is that how you say that?
That's how I've
But
always
you
said.
know, like those early photography.
Oh, good, because I had no idea what
Yeah,
that was.
that's yeah. It's like the
You're
silver.
like, yeah,
I
you
think it's
know,
like
and I'm like, I
silver.
don't.
Like it uses like the silver exposure for like instead of whatever we. I know nothing about photography. And she's like, yeah, so you do need equipment to use this. I don't understand it, but if you put this plate in to take the picture with the daguerreotype um, then apparently, like, instead of capturing the likeness of the person, you capture their thoughts. So it's like one time use, but kind of cool if you need someone's thing, I guess, and you happen to have the equipment with, I don't know.
Let me take a photograph of you right
Yeah,
now.
hang on just a second. Think about, hey, what do you think about your mom? Like,
That's what I want. My one time
yeah.
use. Tell them,
Um,
think about your mom.
Wait, are we there for this, or is this just
Nope,
Rachel
this
getting
is just Alvy.
You guys went to
Okay.
like the regular part of the shop, and I was like, what weird shit you got? So
Next to that is a this kind of rusted. In fact, it looks nothing like it belongs here. Um, it's a rusted kind of metal circle emblem, and it has teeth all around the inside of the circle, just in a full circle. And it is rusting all the way through. And he's like, "Yeah, that's some people I hate this thing because we have to keep it, and you see that it is actually like in a special bowl." She's like, "The bowl is not for sale, but it does dampen effects of things like this, because for example that poor rat's little seed would just spoil if we didn't have it in the bowl. It spoils anything nearby it. Apparently it's like some that crazy people worship down in like
yeah, crazy people.
yeah, people, I don't know, it's like the Hungry Deep or something, and it's like an icon of that god, and it rots that's nearby. It just rots things. And then you recognize with no problem, you don't need to be told what the next thing is, because it is a cutting from a very poisonous plant, which, as a gardener from the Spiral Gardens, you would recognize and see. Like, you would probably know more about it than the shopkeeper, in fact. And so even as she begins to like say like this is just a poisonous plant, you're like, well, actually, right?
Right.
I'm sure you could well actually the shit out of her on this one, and probably
And I
do.
do.
And she's like,
Oh, yeah.
cool. But yeah, it's definitely a very poisonous cutting of a plant. Then there is a desiccated, mummified goat husk. Who could that be?
Goat tusk?
Husk.
It is the husk, mummified husk of a long dead goat.
I need to get it and leave it in Din's drawers.
Oh my god. It's not too large, but it is a goat size. It's like probably a small goat size, but still a goat. And she's like, yeah, I guess that like in about like a 20 to 40 foot radius, it repels ghosts and ghouls, or at least that's what someone told us. And then the last thing that you see is a book. The language is completely unfamiliar to you. The book looks quite old, but it also looks very well preserved despite being.
Elise, do goats have ghosts Inspire.
Think about your
You know
answer.
what? Buy that goat husk. You'll find out real fast.
I need it.
That's how it keeps away the ghost, is because it's just the ghost of a goat that just headbutts all other ghosts away.
That's what
Well,
I
I mean,
imagined exactly.
Yeah.
There was no intent when that is one of my own creations. Many of these are from the book, so credit
Right.
where it's due. Other authors wrote a lot of these. But that one is one of my own. And I had no intention of it being the ghost of a goat headbutting other ghosts, but I do love that interpretation.
How much would these things run me were I to want to purchase them? Not that I'm interested, just in case I was interested, you know.
She names prices like on things. You're looking at anywhere from like the glass bottle would put you out like 1 silver stress. In addition, like you would use up what like your normal daily kind of allotment of money and go
Which
into a
is
little
what?
bit of debt.
I've never
No,
really actually
that's
bought
not like
anything
Inspire.
before.
Like literally, the book is
Oh,
like you just have money. Like anybody's gonna have money for like spending. So like whatever your
sure.
lifestyle, probably like just imagine like that you have like daily spending money. But on anything that's kind of outside the norm of like bus tickets, or if you're buying like 8 bus tickets, right? That might
Sure.
be kind of expensive for you, kind of thing. So that's generally
See,
how
I've
money
never
goes.
bought anything before because Barnabas was also not a
Yeah, Barnabas, yeah, had no
buyer.
money. And the
So this is just automatic stress, right, that I take. Nothing you roll for it. Are you okay?
correct. Yeah, I thought that maybe I spilled some whiskey on my doll. So I was smelling it. See if it smelled like whiskey now, because I need it to be something I can wear to work.
Cancel the stream. Elise is drunk. Just kidding.
She's had 3 sips of whiskey.
Wow.
She's gone. That is what's in my helpful goat.
Oh. Nice.
So, yeah, that one's probably like the cheapest. The icon of the Hungry Deep is also pretty cheap. That one would only be also 1. The book is 2. The rat, the daguerreotype are both 3 silver stress worth of money. The cutting from the garden and the goat husk are 4.
You said the glass bottle's 1?
The glass bottle is 1.
Okay. Oh, I thought the rat was free. That's what the GM
That's
told
what
me.
the GM said.
Actually, the GM told me the rat was free, so that's what I'm going off of.
That GM was a liar.
So these are all lovely, lovely items. It seems like maybe you don't really like having the rat very much and needing to take care of it and feed it and all of those things. I mean, if I could just possibly take it off your hands if you want. I mean, it's like that. Maybe I'd be doing you a favor if we wanted to maybe bundle in the rat together with something else, so we could have a little bit of a discount. Just because, you don't want to have the rat around. The rat obviously doesn't want to be here anymore. You don't want to be storing sunflower seeds. What do you need sunflower seeds for? I could take your sunflower seeds off your hands. It'd be great. You'd be coming out better in this situation.
What were you thinking of combining the rat with? You said with something else?
I did. This is a really difficult choice because there's so many good things. But I really like the idea of the glass bottle. Especially, you don't know if it works on locked doors. Maybe it works on locked doors. Not that I ever need to get into locked doors ever. I'm a totally reputable, upstanding citizen, of course. And definitely not ever clumsy. I would never drop it. Maybe the glass bottle, or
So the bottle, the rat, and how much were you thinking for the both? And keep in mind, she would have told you like numbers. Like we can say arbitrarily, like 1,400 sten, right? Would be, but
I mean, I think half off is totally reasonable if I'm taking that poor rat off your hands, so you don't think of all the money you'll save on not buying flower seeds.
Well, listen, I don't have that much say over the prices here. Go ahead and roll compel. You can take your mastery.
So
Um,
I'll have 4 die then, because I already have compel as well.
well, wait. So you'll have compel. What domain were you rolling? 'Cause
Oh, I don't know why I just fucking
like
assumed I would
4.
have that domain. I have 4.
Yeah, so this is definitely commerce domain.
I do have commerce
Okay,
because
then
I
it
work at
is
the farmer's
4.
market and everything as part of my background, so I got commerce for that.
Go ahead and roll 4d8. 10.
10?
What do we roll?
I was like, wait a second, am I forgetting how to play Spire?
No. All right, that is a
Nice.
9.
Phew.
So
I thought it was 6 at first, and I was like, did I get any? Jesus.
yeah, so she'll say, well, I mean, I can't do half off the whole thing. I can probably do, and then she basically names a price that's going to be 2 silver stress for both, which is kind of giving you the bottle for free.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how that works. It's hard when you're dealing with like single stress counters as like, because it wouldn't
Right.
be like a full discount like that, but I also, give you like a stress discount if you will, then I have to kind of bottle for free. But yeah, it's it would put you back 2 silver stress.
Okay, that sounds like a great deal to me. Also, how much was the book again?
Book was 3, I think. Right?
And then
3.
out loud, I just say, what could I say to convince her to give it to me for cheaper?
You want to use your mental directory and ask that question?
Mm.
Is that I don't know if that's a thing you can ask your mental directory.
I can say, like, is there, it could be like if I could notice something around or in her, the way she acts, or like look around the room or something, if I could see anything that would help me to figure out what I could convince her to give me something for cheaper.
Like kind of insight roll if it were D&D, is that kind of the
Yeah.
direction you're going here?
Yes.
Not using an ability, just kind of.
Well, like mental directory, but if
Okay.
I could use it that way.
I'm looking at that.
Can smell knowledge. So yeah, my thought was
I
either
think,
like an insight
yeah.
roll from her, or to like look around
I think
and see if I
that's fine,
noticed
yeah.
anything that might tip me off. Okay, so that's investigate and occult. Would this still be commerce?
Yes.
No, occult is the
Oh,
fucking
well,
domain.
yeah,
you
occult is the
dumb
domain for the
butthole.
roll, yes.
Okay, so that's 3, right? Okay. Hey, crit success.
Crit success. So a 10. Yeah, so you can tell.
And this will be for buying anything. Like if I basically, it doesn't have to be just this book. If there's something legitimate, I don't mean like what will help me to buy anything. If there is another item I think that's like that I will be able to get for cheaper from them, then like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
just to make it easier on you, you don't have to like.
Well, I mean, I was
localize
gonna say
yourself
like,
to the book.
yeah, the book, like you can see that like she does not, because the book is unreadable. Like when she was explaining the book to you, like she couldn't read it, and she knows Galena can't. And I think you kind of glean that from the way that she kind of like talks about the book, is like nobody can read this. Then like that's definitely a pressure point for like bringing that price way down, because like what good is a book that nobody can read? More broadly, she does care a lot about money and the shop, but you also get the sense that like there's a certain amount of like drow solidarity from her, that like she's working in this shop, and Galena is very egotistical, right? That's something you know about Galena, from Din knowing her ahead of time, and like you've heard Galena say, well, the others of you I think have heard Galena say things like, oh, among the more fair-skinned, like basically being like showing Yes, that she has a lot of Alfir superiority feeling. And this shopkeeper has a very comfortable life as a drow. She is well paid. She is well, kind of. I was gonna say well kept, but that sounds. It might also, but like, um, in the sense that like most drow don't have access to a really cushy job with so much direct contact with the Elfir, with kind of high budget commerce things. And so she's not looking to rock the boat here, but she is kind of like it does rankle to have those things said about her and her people by Galena, even though she would probably never speak up for anybody else or herself in the presence of any Elfir, as far as kind of tell from your read. But you can tell that there's some drow solidarity and in her willingness to come down on the price without consulting Galena, despite just telling you that like really Galena's the one who is. There might be some of that at play.
Well, I'm so good at being subtle about things, and I'll use that information really, really well. So I mean, we're already doing the rat and the bottle for what equates to 2 silver stress. Perhaps we can, have a little bit of agreement of those of us that are less of the fairer skin, one could say. We have to stick together and solidarity. I say it more quietly. And it just if and also nobody really knows what's going on in that book, right? I mean, I'm a scholar, so it'd be useful. I could actually find out what's going on in it, perhaps, and then it wouldn't just be a useless book that's sitting here in a shop collecting dust and doing nothing. It could be a less useless book collecting dust in my workshop, and that might be interesting to have. And also, what if it is something that's useful and powerful, and we wouldn't want it to be found here, right? Like we wouldn't want. What if we don't want her to get more praise for things? Maybe it'd be good to kind of get it out of the way so that it's not a risk that it'll look good for her.
Yeah, go ahead and roll compel
Wink.
again for all 4 of your D. Yeah, a
Yes.
critical
Another crit
success.
success.
Yeah,
Own the store
which
now.
that feels very appropriate because you did a great job with kind of your approach on your argument as well. And she kind of looks over the items and she picks up the book and she kind of turns it over in her hands a little bit and she's like, honestly, I think this is probably garbage. So, but listen, I can't get fired for selling it to you for less than, and and I hate this thing, and she gestures at the goat. Which by the way was 4, right? So we are dealing with 2 of the more expensive things. So she's like, buy the goat full price, and I'll give you the book.
Ooh, intriguing. What if now? I like this idea, and I'm here for it. Can we throw in one more thing that's not on the table here? I don't know if you have it. This is a weird question, but I don't know if I want to carry my new rat friend around in a cage all the time. Do you have maybe a tiny little leash and collar that I could put on him so that he could ride on my shoulder and not have to worry about him running away with curses?
She kind of is like, no, but I can give you the leather worker down the street, my uncle. I can just send you a note Or he'll thing.
Fantastic. Perfect. Okay, so that's
Or silver
this
stress for the goat.
so that's 6 total, yeah. Wait, I have 0 stress right now, so
Yeah.
I'll take fucking 6
Yeah,
and be like,
6
yeah, sure.
total. 6 total.
Sam looks uncomfortable.
No, I just thought of something that Edic is gonna do the moment he sees this.
Everything is getting shoved into a bag.
Okay. Yeah, and you hand over a bunch of money, and what
Yeah.
total stress does that put you at now?
6.
You have no silver
I don't have
resistance.
any.
God.
No.
You know, if you take Fallout on this, it's gonna be like a silver medium. Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. Hang on.
Uh-huh.
Yay,
Hey,
no.
Tyler
debtor's
isn't the only one who
prison.
has to take giant risks, you know.
This is true.
I need goat
All right,
husks.
let's go.
and
You
books.
needed a goat husk. We all knew it. Okay, we're gonna roll a d10.
Always says if you've agreed to
It-
give her the rat, just give in.
It's what now? A 5 or lower will be Fallout on this. It's a 1.
That's a 1.
Okay.
Woo!
Let's
Silver
see
fallout.
what happens.
Is
Oh,
this
God.
moderate?
I mean, it's fine.
Oh
It's
no.
not severe, so it's fine. I won't die.
I don't want Alvy to go to debtor's prison.
Okay.
That's not.
Okay.
Hey, I paid my stuff.
You can remove 5 stress.
I can remove 5 stress.
Yes, for taking Fallout.
So now I only have 1 stress. I came away so well
I
in
see,
this.
you're fine now.
interaction.
And the Fallout you're going to take.
Uh-huh.
Oh God.
I'm here for it.
I'm looking.
I don't know if anyone uses
It's gonna be
TikTok,
that
but there was
no-
that theme recently that was like, oh no, oh no,
Yeah,
oh no, no,
I
no,
love that
no,
one.
no.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
This is just gonna be that nobody trusts me ever again to buy things, or nobody will ever sell me anything ever again.
We let her go into a room by herself, and now she has one arm.
She's like, look,
So
I have a goat husk and I have a rat.
we're gonna take,
Oh, I dropped the bottle.
we're gonna do services rendered. You're forced to sell your skills to a third party to pay for your debt. So Alvi, as an academic, you're basically going to have to earn this money that you are spending against. We're gonna pretend it's basically a credit card that you can't pay off because there's, you shouldn't have money with you to spend on this, but it's very hard to understand how that mechanic silver stress. Pretending it's like and in order to pay off this debt, you are now going to have to sell your academic researching skills, and you and I will work out what that means soon. But let's you make way.
This was worth it.
Yes,
to me,
you get a
so.
note about the to the leather workers as well as like a direction to go, and we're gonna pop back over to the other group who have been patiently waiting. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, and let's hear what people are thinking about from the weapons and armory side.
If we recall, the last thing that happened was that
Yes,
Edic gave the art the sketch that had Danksy's name on it.
Yes. This is
And we
true.
are all masked.
Yes. Edic would like you to roll a luck. That's a 3. Okay. Yeah, so she takes it and she kind of raises an eyebrow and looks back at you. And she kind of carefully sets this charcoal, because she doesn't want to smudge it or anything. Kind of carefully sets it down nearby. And she looks back at you and she says, very interesting. It's a well-rendered likeness. And you kind of don't get much else from her reaction. She has a mask on, and she's kind of very intentionally keeping her cards, so to speak, close to the on this one. So yeah, you have gifted her a Danksy portrait, and or a charcoal portrait. What? So yeah, just to remind everyone in the chat, we had the pocket crossbow, which was the very small crossbow, kind of one of the first of its kind that was engineered quite little, whereas mostly crossbows have been quite large, one of the first of its kind, therefore quite rare still. The broken armor that Eddic was able to discern had some sort of magical effect on it before and could be restored to have a magical effect. The blistering dagger, which is she kind of indicated would have ongoing damage capabilities. The flashbang, which does stunning area of effect. A range rifle, which is basically a sniper rifle, and the spiderweave armor, which is the illegal armor, because it is drow and kind of reminiscent of drow deities and cultural heritage that the Alfir have banned. So it is illegal armor to wear and own. It would be +2. And she indicated that if someone were to be wearing it, bold enough to wear it, and sought help from midwives, the midwives look kindly on those who wear the spiderweave. Also, there's curiosity in that about the naming of the of the rat, which
The
I
rat.
just yeah, you're
To
bartering
raffle
down
it
to
off.
5, down to 6 is very good. I never say I am not a kind, benevolent GM. Just because Tyler told you things would be free.
I feel pretty good about my bartering, though. I'm really glad I took that compel. So,
Yeah, that was clutch. All right. Yeah. So, what are people? Lena's kind of waiting for someone to kind of express interest.
I'm interested in the blistering dagger. Or
Oh.
Din is.
Yeah. She kind of nods and very gently picks it up. She makes sure not to touch the blade, only the handle. And she kind of very delicately kind of holds it up to the light so that it catches some of the light. And as she does so, she's kind of almost like heat waves coming off of the blade part of it. And she the next to the dagger on the pillow is a sheath. As when sheathed, the heat effect is dampened, and there you won't burn yourself or your clothes carrying it. She sheathes it, and kind of hands it out to you for inspection and says that would cost, and she names a price that's essentially 3 silver strap.
Okay. I take it and I look at it. I need to practice my stabbing. It's one of my favorite Futurama bits. I had to do it. Okay.
oh, Jesus.
I just stabbed the air. I'm stabbing the air. I wasn't
Yeah.
stabbing a person, just so people
and
know.
Galena is like, oh, and she kind of like steps back a little and just like, yeah. She has a mask, so you
Okay.
can't see what she...
How much, like, if I took Fallout, what would we roll against, and what would it would be a minor Fallout, or
How much stress do you have right now? None or 1? So
actually I might have a resistance in silver. Hold on. I do have 1 resistance in silver.
So it's always
So it would be
against your
2.
total stress. So
Okay.
you would end up with 3 total stress because you already had 1.
Right.
And that would be, so it would be a 2 or lower would give you Fallout, and it would be a minor Fallout if you...
Okay. It's just like real life. I don't barter. I just am like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to have this conversation. I'll take it.
Okay. You pay her. You go ahead and mark your 2 stress, and I will roll Fallout. Well, your 3 total stress, because it's 1 against you. That is a 3, so you are safe. She thanks you for your business as she kind of pockets to her nice robe uh, money and turns to look expectantly at the rest of you.
So, Galina, with someone with such exquisite taste as you, I am very perplexed. Why do you have this hunking chunk of rusted metal just here? When you could have literally anything else in this place?
Well, the uh, armor, as you can see, is quite fine. And she kind of picks up part of it. You know, it is broken, but she kind of picks it up, and um, the metalworking on this is very nice. And she kind of flips it around and shows you like a stamp kind of impressed into the metal. So I forget what that's called, embossed or something. Um, on the inside,
Branded? Like a
yeah, kind of,
branding?
but it's like it's just pressed into. It's not burned or anything. Into the metal on the inside bottom kind of the armor, and it's like a craftsman's mark. And she says, as you can see, this is something that has come from quite a renowned craftsman, and although this piece may not be one of her finest, it remains us a piece that is from somebody whose armor and smithing abilities are quite sought after.
I see. Um, this is understandable. However, I believe I would like to do you a favor in perhaps repairing said armaments. I have, as you undoubtedly are aware of, loss of experience with metalwork, and I believe I could bring this back into tip-top shape and make it a piece worthy of your space instead of something that looks like it should be in a closet.
And in what
It would require me some time to put it together, to refurbish. Um, I don't know. Perhaps we could consider this a favor to be paid back in time.
to understand that as somebody who has the to armor, letting you walk out of the shop with that armor, quite a risky choice from my side of things. Perhaps if you were to offer some collateral that's valuable that I could have here, so that upon of the repaired armor, I could whatever item you have offered collateral. That way, I'm assured that you are not simply scamming me.
Hmm.
Or pay for the armor, repair it, bring it back, and promise that at minimum I pay you bought it.
Hmm. And if you want it back, you will be paying a services rendered charge. Hmm. I guess this is dependent upon how much you would be willing to part with it for. Um, let's be honest, you. Un- well, I don't wish to tarnish the experience here, but um, it's not getting any newer. Just sitting here. So I'm trying to basically force her price down, whatever she is hypothetically thinking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of straightens her back a little and tilts her head at you and says, "Nothing that I put out in playrooms that I'm not confident ability to sell. Broken or not, this armor has value to myself, or you would not be asking it now. I don't like many things in the world that are well crafted. Time does not new old now. Repaired, the armor is much more valuable to me. I agree with that. Repaired, it's also more valuable to you, assuming you're the or sell it. I will do this. You pay for the armor today. He names a price that would be silver stress, which is lower, honestly, than you thought, given that stress for the dagger. Um, they are not comparable. The dagger was either a total ripoff or she has come down from whatever original. You pay that much today, and if you bring it back to me, I buy it back for, and she price that's 5, so you would make a profit of 2 silver bonus. And we call it a deal because honestly, giving it to you for the 3 silver stress out of character, is quite generous. But I do want to see it repaired, and if you don't bring it back to me, then you got a remarkably good deal, and I never.
Oh.
Well, the last thing I want to do is diminish the work of Danksy, and I feel that if this situation was in bad faith, that my appearance among all Elfia Drow would be lesser. And that is not what I would aspire to. I hope you understand that me giving you something already was not merely to soften you up, but was to establish something of a trust, of an understanding that I have an eye for things. But yes, you are right. I would not be just looking at anything in this space. I feel like there is definitely something of value beneath the rust and decrepit here. And he like kind of just scoffs it a little bit, but like nods, acknowledging. Um and yeah, okay. Well, I guess he'll take it for the 3 silver stress,
Okay,
if nothing else.
yeah. Go ahead and mark your 3 silver stress.
I won't. I'll remove 3 of my temporary.
Right, because you had a lot of
Oh.
money.
Yeah, I still have a lot of money.
Meanwhile, Alvi over there is going into is gonna have to work desperately to pay off. Okay.
Worth it.
Yeah, and she kind of carefully again did not do this for the dagger, but the dagger is also small and concealable, and presumably Din could put it in her pockets. But for the armor, she kind of wraps it in some cloth that she pulls out from under the table, similar to what Alfie would have seen in the other room, though you don't know that. Kind of under the table are these like shelves that she pulls out, and they have these nice little cloths that she then wraps the armor up into, kind of parcels it up as best she can, so that it's carryable, and kind of hands it over to you, wrapped that way. And yeah, you now have some broken armor.
During all of these exchanges, I would like Chu to be like scribbling furiously on a paper in the background.
Okay. Easy.
And if it's cool for me to jump in, I think I'm ready to.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. One question I had was, what does the spider weave armor look like?
It is armor. It is kind of silvery and black, black and silver. It is not a cool dress, I believe, was
No.
your hope. But it is, if you had to guess, although these things are wishy-washy because, gender is a construct, it was made for a slender, smaller form that is more congruent with typically women drow than men drow.
Yeah.
That said, obviously, it can be adjusted by many people. And that is congruent, or that is kind of following along with what you know of the midwives as well, is that like there is a preference or bias towards women among the midwives. So there's probably a correlation there. You think that it's fairly safe to say that between those two things, you're kind of it's Anyway, that said, it is also, it's kind of it's got like a nice kind of like the underlayer kind of it is like black, and it's a very tough material. But when you kind of if you inspect it, as you kind of touch that material, it feels almost not entirely soft, but like pliable or supple, like it is not metal.
Okay.
And it feels kind of cool to the touch. And then the silvery kind of over like lay on it that kind of gives it the spider web look, the spider weave look, is like a different material altogether. It's almost like silk, that overlays it. And she sees you kind of inspecting it and kind of running your hands over the different materials, and kind of she kind of steps up and to you at this point and says, yes, the spider weave armor is very old, very distasteful. Remember that wearing it could get you in a lot of trouble, but a fine piece for a collection nevertheless. The material here, as you can see, woven from drow who have, in the most grotesque manners, transformed themselves to be arachnid creatures from the king. Kind of says this all with quite a lot of and she's kind of essentially like telling you a story about how these are like very old but seem to be woven from spider silk of and yeah.
I ask her, what the price.
This piece, as spiderweave armor is quite rare these days, very sought after collection piece among those who collect such. Run you, and she names your price, and it's 4 silvers.
And then I'll say, well, bit expensive for my tastes, but I'm looking for something maybe that has a little bit more of a bang to it. A little more pizzazz, a little more
She
sparkle.
kind of looks like you behind the mask, right? All you see is the mask, but you see her gaze kind of go up and down you, and she goes, "Yes," and turns to Anders.
Wow.
Oh,
The
wow.
What a
shade.
Um,
grenade!
I mean, you can tell her you're still interested in other things, but she's decided you're done.
if you
I'll
want
go.
to,
No, Anders, you go ahead. I'm gonna go. I think Chu's gonna take a little bit of time to look at the grenade and lick her
okay,
lips.
take your time. Um, yeah. So Anders, I know we're all masked, but trying to look as disinterested as he can, in the selection. So I don't know if you had anything you kept in the metaphorical back. Things you don't
The
think that
literal back of the store.
the weapons you might not want out on display.
She kind of taps at her mask thoughtfully. Let me put it to you this way. If I have this, and she gestures at the spiderweed armor, which as again is illegal to possess,
Mhm.
on display, um, the things you might imagine that I would keep not on display, there it would have to be quite. I suppose if there's something specific you're looking for, I often work with collectors in particular, have an item in tell you whether or not I possess or could get it in possession.
I'm looking for a winter sword.
A winter sword. We do not have it in stock, and you get the sense that she wouldn't lie about this. She likes to sell things. Um,
Yep.
we don't have such an artifact in stock. However, you give me 3 days. It would, with procurement, run you a lot more items that we display and show. Procurement fee, kind of like mental math. If you wish for me to do this and find it for you and so in a timely manner, we could part with such business for he names a price that would be for us.
Before I decide on that, um, I'm looking for one other item. Not sure if you would have a scald battle dress.
Can you point me?
Scald battle dress, page 38 of Strata.
Um, she she kind of tilts her head to the side and says, "Very curious items you're requesting today. Um, quite savage and the paraphernalia of my people."
Well, if you must know, I fought in the wars. Um, one of my commanders was a scald, and I'd like to purchase the armor as a something to keep on the mantle to remember the man who saved my life.
Is this is a lie?
Oh, this is a fucking lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I figured. I just wanted to make sure before I was like, roll deceive, and you're like, actually, Anders has a story to tell. Yeah, go ahead and
No, the last skull that Anders came in contact with, you tried to blow up.
yeah, I thought
So
so. I
you know
thought
that
so. You
was.
know.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, go ahead and roll deceive. Commerce, the domain.
Can I get away with high society?
I like that face.
Can you get away with high society?
Tell at least what you have to roll to get away with high.
What precedent would you be setting for? No, okay. Okay. I think because the purpose of this deception is to remove her kind of potentially disruptive curiosity about why you want Alfear related things, yes, because this is not a role specific to gain an item from her stock, or to get a good deal on something. So yes, you may roll high.
Okay, and then Sarah, do I have that? We did that dress to impress thing before we came. Is that compel and deceive rolls?
Mastery on compel and deceive checks. Yep.
Nice. Okay, great. I'll be rolling 4.
Okay, roll your 4d10. Look at all of you so well prepared for this. That is
There is
Damn
at
it.
least a
God
success.
damn
and
it!
it's
All right,
success
well,
at a
I'll take
cost.
it.
Okay. All right. So she believes you, but you do take stress.
Sure.
So let's that. I think what I'm gonna do here is this stress is going to be against always. I always roll
God
ones
damn
on
it!
this, and then if it's Tyler, the dice try
It's
to kill
almost
you.
always a 3. Yeah,
The dice just want to kill you. Specifically you.
fine. Yep.
Okay, so if you had failed this, you would have taken a higher amount of stress.
I'm
'Cause-
sure.
So
Yeah.
this is basically just your shadow stress, but decrease, right, from the roll.
Okay.
Of her suspicion kind of like landing on you, but deflected. Okay, and she kind of looks at you again and says, interesting. Under whose command were you serving?
Give me 1 second. I have this in my backstory. Why didn't I bold all the names?
Mhm.
I was under the command of Henry Sunfather's Chosen.
Fascinating. Many in my generation thought I I will again you are asking after an item that I have in my possession currently. However, the same person who I believe I could procure from, I believe I could also, if not find a scald battle dress to buy directly from them, I could find out where from this contact Might need a little more time for that one if they don't have it themselves. Kind of calculating. Perhaps 5 days, and she names another price. For both the sword and the armor, you're now looking at 9
It-
silver stress.
Are you
Okay.
gonna die?
At that price, Edic is going to lean in and ask, and what would the expense be to accelerate the acquisition of said weapons? Say, if we wanted to maybe see if you could possibly procure the sword a day or two earlier. If this cannot be done,
Yes.
this is understandable, but with someone with your resources, I figure it is not impossible.
The problem is I'll actually schedule then have to cancel to accelerate the process of finding, grieving, and bring self as I do not others with money. Therefore, the loss of business from canceling clients quite for that reason. Wanted to do this, I would need upfront. She names the amount that is basically 4 silver stress upfront. You cancel appointments and all these things, positive got lost business. And no matter what the outcome of my to procure, that is money as payment for losing potential to sell items to others. Then upon finding, receiving the items, I would ask for the same amount. So it would be the 4 upfront, and then you would pay the 9 for the battle dress and.
How much silver resistance does Anders have right now?
Anders has 4 right now.
Okay. I thought you had like
Hmm.
a shit ton from gambling.
I had 8. I bought a true mask,
Right.
another
Okay.
mask, and then high elf garb. Um, yeah. Hmm.
Um, uh, one moment, please. And then, I'm gonna kind of tap on Anders's shoulder and ask to speak in private. Um, uh, is there a timeline by which you were hoping to have your situation together? Would
I mean,
3 days be too much?
3 days is fine. The 5 might be pushing it. But the more weight I can give um, my friend, the better off things will be. Um, I think. So it was. Remind me for just the sword. We're looking at 5. We're looking at no
6
8,
for just the sword.
6. Those
6,
are all numbers.
9 for the sword and the battle dress. 4 as a deposit, non-refundable, whatever, to accelerate.
Accelerate the process.
And
Okay.
would that 4 be if we were trying to accelerate both or either?
Both. I think she said
if we were
she
just
could get both of them in 2 days was her plan if uh she were to cancel everything and just kind of focus just on it.
Are we allowed to help?
yeah, so there's two things that I I would want to know. One, if we were just trying to accelerate the acquisition of one of these two things, because Anders does not need both. He needs one or the other, right?
Yeah, I can do with one or the other.
Okay. So if we were just trying to receive it with one, what would the silver or accelerate just one? What would the silver stress be for that?
So she could get the sword for you in 3 days with no upfront or silver. Um, if you the battle dress was the one that she thought would take 5 days, and then
Mhm.
at that point you asked about accelerating. So,
Okay.
if you ask these questions of her, like, she'll kind of recalculate and things and say, like, if you just want the sword within like 2 days, or if you just want the like the battle dress is probably the problem. It's the one that's going to take longer to find and procure. And
Mhm.
so she'll take like a lower, she'd be essentially like, okay, if you want just the sword accelerated, then she's like, you could pay two up front, she'll get the sword within a day because she knows where to get the sword, right?
Mhm.
um and then you could pick it up tomorrow and pay 5, so it would be 7 total, but you'd get it a day instead of 2, or instead of 3. And then if you wanted just the battle dress, do it in 2 days. And she would need a higher deposit, like up front, and pay probably 2 or 3, but
Okay. I would I would then want to ask Anders, would would a sum total of 7 silver stress, but shared between the two of us, uh, I have 3 resistances to silver right now.
Okay.
Um, sorry. Yes, I have 3 resistances to silver. Um, would would a 1 day turnaround time on the sword be sufficient to do what you need to do? And
Yes.
and and would the stress be worth it?
Hmm. Um, please remind me our timetable on getting back to uh getting back to the Swan on our ship. How many is this, like only our first day after that, or are we on day 2? Because I know we have 3 days to get
you're on the
all of
first
them.
day after that.
Okay, great. Um, hmm. I could probably work with either. So
Do you
if we want to save our money, certainly can. Um, Again, the clock's ticking towards something, I feel. So,
so do you think that the sword is more opportune than this dress?
yes. Um, yes. And if you won't give me one moment, I am going to try to drive the price down just a bit. I'm gonna wheel back around. Um,
I was also going to do that, so I'm coming with.
I want to cough over my shoulder for good shit to say, by all means. Um, I wanted to ask if there was any way that you might uh, see in your heart to perhaps lower the price a bit on the Winter Sword, seeing as I don't know if I told you this, but reason for the sword is prayer was something that really got me through the war, and specifically to Mother Winter. And I can see that you are devoted to the solar pantheon, and I respect that, and I know that you hold them highly, obviously.
Can I pause you for a second there and ask, did Elise the GM last session say something that is making Anders say this, or are you just bullshitting because trying
You
to
had
butter
said that
her up?
her mask was like adorned with the four
The four
seasons
seasons of
of
the
Yeah.
solar pantheon. Okay, okay, thank you. I was like,
yeah.
this seems like something specific,
Yep.
but also it could just be Anders being like, and you're so pious and devout, you know.
No, I was going off of the specific
Yes, I
mask.
appreciate that. I had forgotten that I said that, so
yes.
thank you.
hmm Um, so I was wondering if you could, find it in your heart to just lower the price, just a smidge. Um, I'll, and if you remember from the last session, I had said that I was coming here to procure weaponry for. I'm going to start fighting in the arena. Was my cover.
Yeah.
So I would love to dedicate my first fight to you, and maybe drive some business your way. Um,
She
I
kind of
so but before she gets a chance to really think of her response to this, uh and this isn't probably going to help too much if at all, but Edic and his ego. Um uh Edic is going to ask yes, and before you contemplate that too much, I must ask, how how often do you actually sell product here? Does every customer come in and buy something from you? Or are there days where, perhaps things do not get bought or sold?
what?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Jean.
Miss Jean, who was in the hospital Monday, because she ate
oh,
4 cups.
Oh,
that's so much
But
brown sugar.
when you do that, you vomit.
mm,
Fun facts.
I did not know that.
Fun facts. Anyway, there's my dumb dog. She kind of um looks looks at you and kind of tilts her head a little bit again. This is a lot of drow, or not drow, Alfir expression is often done through much more kind of embodied things, since masks are so this is uh for those of you who spent any time around Alfir, recognize a lot of this like performative um body language to indicate her mood. And um she kind of, she seems amused, maybe would be how you would read this, amused, but in a like, does like a you come in my house talking business kind of way. um and she kind of like it's not a smile because again the mask, but it's kind of that feeling. And she's like, it's an interesting question that you ask, and perhaps feels more ignorance about the process, and many days of work are spent tracking down and finding items that would be a collector, not selling or attempting to sell, but nevertheless your question. And when I'm trying to sell items, how often happen, and often do they fall through? And quite more often than not, my clientele is known to me rather than walk-ins such as yourself. And um, the business of relationship. when you were selling relationship back to as then being so how did you phrase it? Like this is you asking. You said like if you find it in your heart, right? Is that what you
Yep.
said? And she kind of like pulls back. There's nothing like sexy about this. But she kind of pulls back her robe a little bit, and you can see like her heart, the top part of her heart, where it would be like the rib cage is actually exposed, in like a body modifications way, and in
Sure.
place like where her heart is, there is something metal. Whether or not it is literally a heart made out of metal is not, it could be much more kind of something a little more cosmetic than that. You can't tell from just like the brief glance. She says, when you're selling relationships, the heart actually has far less to do with it than you think. It's at least from my. So, did you have a point? She looks back at Eddie.
My question was more directed towards the point of guaranteed business versus the possibility of something. But perhaps I underestimated how much you don't care.
Perhaps you underestimated how much, and that buys you right to not care.
I hate this bitch.
Jolena,
Swindled her out of a lot of money.
if I might have a word in private, and I can't really glare at Edic through my mask, but
By the way, like as you kind of ask this, she turns to Chu and she says, if you want that bomb, as you put it, it would run you. And she names a price that's essentially one silver stress.
Cool. Yeah, Chu will take out the silver and place it on the counter and pocket her bomb.
Okay.
And begin looking for something to dissolve on her way out.
Does that put you at 4 stress?
It does.
Okay,
Go
we're rolling
wild, go
Fallout.
crazy. I'm gonna die.
You're not. It's a 7. You're fine. Okay. This cat is giving me.
Love it.
So you
so
can
cute.
you can take it. She says, yes, if the rest of you have concluded your business, I believe we could just have a private word here. If you would, kind of gives you all the hint to step out. And Chu, as you are leaving, there's like the tablecloths, there's the pillows on tassels that things are kind of displayed on.
Can I hit the door?
No?
Yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, and thanks for such great customer service. And I'll like adjust my mask so that just my lips are leaving, and I'll be like, oh, your shop is so great. I just want to, oh, I know. And I'll kiss the door on my way out, and then I'll close it and I'll use the magic. And the magic makes me take, I believe it says D3 mind stress. But I have an ability which says I don't take mind stress. Someone else nearby takes it. So,
okay. Roll a.
Yeah.
1, 2.
The D3.
I have cat.
Roll a
juice in my glasses
D6
now.
for me.
Okay, let's find out who takes mind stress for me today. 5.
It's the shopkeeper girl that Albie saw.
Oh.
I had them planned out in my head for all the numbers. So,
It's the nice shopkeeper person.
Yeah, and how much mind
nice is
stress
a
does she get?
stretch, but she takes 3.
Hope.
Yeah, she takes 3
Oh
stress.
God.
she
Alfie,
dead?
Alfie, as you're like leaving the room or
Did
whatever,
you die?
I think that like you're,
She
you
just has
like
an aneurysm and
you like
dies.
open the door out into the air like around the same time that everyone else is leaving, and you see Chu kiss the door, and you kind of know a little bit about Chu's magic, and you're like, oh, and then you see the girl that was helping you just like clutch at her head and scream, and she kind of collapses. Um, she's not
Can I-
dead. She's
Okay.
real close to dead. Like real close to dead.
Is it
We'll say
worth it to
we'll
try
say
and
she
help
didn't
her?
like full on scream, so that Galena still has a chance to talk to you. But yeah, you've almost killed this girl. And I should
I'm
just say this
sorry.
woman who is still like, let's be clear here, she is not like, just because she has some like Drow solidarity feels like she is very complicit in the system that is ultimately, I mean, like she's quite very happy to not rock the boat in order to keep her cushy set up here. Anyway, that
Oh,
said,
kitty.
I mean, it's all just different levels of, but still.
Squish the
Yeah.
cat.
And as the girl kind of collapses, like whoever is kind of in the back like sees this happen and like very quickly closes the door so that Anders doesn't have to explain why the shopkeeper just collapsed. And yeah, we have like a couple minutes, so let's get it, and then we'll at 8:30 ish. I mean, I don't have to like, exactly stop at 8:30, but you know what I mean. I'd like to honor the short. So, yeah, she turns and kind of raises her. Well, okay, she doesn't raise her eyebrows. It's very hard to talk about expressions when everybody's wearing a fucking mask.
Right.
So she kind of gestures, she kind of sweeps her hand out in like an invitation, like, well,
You had brought up something about relationships. I thought it'd be best to tell you away from the group I came in with that I have contacts with quite a few people that I'm sure you have very, very proper and legal channels to get the things that you're looking for. But I'm sure there's always a someone who's not quite willing to sell, or you can't quite get to something that you want. I have some people who might be able to get you things extra legally. In the spirit of fostering relationships, I'd be more than happy to be a liaison for you.
what kind of
That depends. Any of the kind of weaponry that you can find here, just I I wouldn't go to them personally because I am trying to stay above board, as to put it plainly. But they can procure you pretty much anything as long as you give them a target. If you're going after a certain person, or an object, or it is in a certain place, um, can probably get the job done. But if you were to say, I need you to go find this thing, it's probably not in their purview. But if you were to point something out, they could probably get it back to you without too many heads being raised.
you do understand that my clientele tends to equal thing collectors do of people that sell to have a practical more about interest of item value adds collection. Both we're talking about. I need some swords. Swords. That's not collectible. Now, if we're talking about items that are more like these, even the most common, like the bomb your friend bought, are people who have a certain amount of desire to have, oh, the Solar Guard carries these items and I have the whole set. That nature. A little more common, but still sell. What type of item?
They'd be able to find you your unique items, so long as you would. So if you wanted them to say, sneak into the Solar Basilica and take a few, or what's I guess remaining of the Solar Basilica from the.
It's been rebuilt. Yeah, there's been enough
That's-
times. I
okay,
mean, like this would
sure,
be like
sure.
if the Vatican had like something happen, it would be rebuilt in a few days because
Yep.
like it would be high priority to like
It's the
make
Vatican.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. It's the Vatican, so yes.
sure.
But there's certainly like a memorial monument and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But yeah, that's a very easy example. Could probably get them in, steal some more bombs. It's pretty easy. Um, for the more unique items, things that are going to be harder to come by, they're probably going to want a bigger cut of either what's sold or a finder's
The
fee up front.
fine tunings of cuts and percentages, something I would work out with any dealer, any person that I would procure things from. It's a process that doesn't understand. But it's always interesting to have potential contacts, and if will do in fact come through, it would be quite useful to me. Now, it does raise the question of why you get your winter them. They can't give particular items the same way that, but nevertheless, it does make me wonder what exactly I'll be getting, how I would go about procuring those things. Let me put it to you this way: give me a contact person. I follow up with that contact person. Works out for me, and you and I have a relationship. Does that work for you?
That works fine for me. When should they meet you? How should they get in contact with you? Unless you just want to write it all down, and I can take it to them.
Uh, Let me see. We'll ask. Oh my god. We'll ask the girl up front to look at my schedule. Yeah, I mean, she would send you to this person, to the shop girl, to um find an available appointment that would probably work, and
Sure.
then would essentially say like, just have them meet me at the shop or where we can hammer out details. And it would probably be like, out so that there would be time for you to pass the message and for them to kind of prepare anything that they would like to prepare to kind of pitch.
Sure.
And who
Sure.
is it that you're going to be doing this
Like who am I
to?
getting
Yeah,
in
who are you
contact?
trying to like, yeah.
Me, myself, and I.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Fabulous. Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. So, in the meantime, I suppose the rest of you have to deal with this poor girl who's collapsed with mind stress. But I guess we'll pick up there. Who knew it was going to be a 3-part shopping episode series?
The door is also dissolving. Don't forget
That's
that.
true. The door is dissolving. It's fairly slow process, right? Not like instant dissolve, right?
Yeah, it's over the next few minutes.
Okay, even so, that probably took a few. So yeah, she kind of like turns to like kind of like start heading out, and like to finalize. So you sword and you want to put 2 silver stress down today, and then get it for, right? Was that the plan? Put 2 down today, pay 5 upon for the sword.
Yes, I think so. Well, it was 4 on receipt, right? Because it was 6.
No, the additional money. It's 7 now total because you are paying additional money to have her like expedite the process.
Yep. So you said it was 2 today, and then yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that then. So that'll just take off 2 of my last 2 free slots. Now I just have my normal slots. Those are my additional ones.
Okay.
Burned away all my gambling money.
Yeah, so you hand her the money, and as she kind of pockets it, she turns towards the door and is like, "Oh dear, oh my! I suppose perhaps the icon of the Hungry Deep across the hall has spread its. I'll have to ask. For stronger warding magic, I suppose next time." And she just kind of like pushes at the door a little, and it kind of crumbles around, and she just kind of sighs heavily, like, "I think that's worth more trouble than it's worth," and step out into the hall. Yeah, and we're gonna stop there because it is 8:37 and we need to wrap it up so that we can let people go. Thanks for playing with us. We'll find out what happened to poor shop girl with no name who took 3 mind stress next session. And thanks, good shopping episode. Wow, we sure did buy the things and get named some really high prices from this. You can hang out with us on exclamation boards to find out how to do that. You can watch Moon Tree Isle tomorrow at 7 Mountain Time. Me, Rachel, Sam will all be there along with more wonderful people. Um, and you can buy merch. Isn't it beautiful? I fucking love this mug.
And Saturday you can see
Yes,
Narissa on
I was
Goat's
gonna
Eye View.
say you can join us in being nerds about speedrunners Saturday as well as other things. Goat's Eye View is 7 Mountain Time, 9 time on Saturday. Listen to Ava type on her work anytime you want. Anytime you want. 24-hour
Free.
Ava typing stream starts now. What else, kids? I think that's it. I'm sorry, I call everybody kids sometimes. It's just an old habit. I know not everybody, but we're thinking Sarah's mad.
Angie.
Yeah, Sarah Angie. Let's go so that we can, do other things or whatever that we need to do. And I think that's it. I'll see you tomorrow for Moon Tree Isle, which I'm pumped about. And
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.